Hi guys, this is Eve from Ovaniz and today we're going to teach you how to make this fondant ballerina cake topper. So let's get started. For this tutorial we will use Ovaniz sculpting tools and skewers, white fondant, ivory color fondant and pink fondant. We are getting a lot of questions about the fondant we are using in our tutorials, so I'm going to leave you a link in the description box down below for the most suitable fondant for sculpting, face and body. Before we get started, I would like to point out that there are two kinds of different fondant faces we can put on the body we are making today. The one on the left is the regular cartoon fondant character, and you can find a tutorial on how to make it on our channel, and the link is going to be down below. And the one on the right is the portrait fondant character, which was sculpted using the Ovaniz photo to fondant face sculpting tutorial, which basically means that you can sculpt a fondant figure copied from a picture. And we will talk more about this option at the end of this tutorial. We will start with making the legs, and for the legs we will take 25 grams of white fondant for each leg. Roll it in between your hands into a long rope shape when one of the ends is wider and one is thinner. Using your finger, create an indent in the middle of the leg. This is going to be the back part of the leg, and pinch out a knee. At the thinner end, roll the fondant in between your fingers to create the ankle area and to shape out the foot. With your fingers, pinch out and shape a foot wearing ballet shoes. Continue shaping the leg, thin out the lower part of the leg. Emphasize the arch and set aside to dry for a while we're making the second leg, and afterwards we will insert the skewers into the legs. And now repeat the same with the second leg. After the fondant is set, very carefully insert skewer in the middle of the leg. While the fondant is quite hard already, still it gets a little deformed when inserting the skewer, so be very careful, and after inserting the skewer just fix all the imperfections you just created by inserting the skewer. By the way, you can also use wires for this purpose, the kind that you use in flower arrangements, and you need to pick the thicker ones, and it will also work. Make sure to use a long enough skewer. You need to leave at least 3 centimeters so you have enough to insert into the base, and you need to leave enough on the top to insert into the body. By the way, the legs are approximately 13 centimeters long. After inserting the skewers, insert the skewers with the legs into the foam base and let them set. Next we will make the hands. For the hands, take 8 grams of skin color fondant, 8 grams for each arm. Roll the piece in between your hands, again making one end wider and one end thinner. At the thinner end, roll it in between your fingers to create the palm of the hand. Bend it slightly in the middle and pinch out the elbow. Squeeze with your finger at the thinner end, and now we will create the palm of the hand. Using the precision knife, make a small cut for the thumb. And now, to make very elegant fingers, instead of just making 4 cuts, I'm cutting out small triangles. And this will make us some very delicate and thin fingers. Cut off the excess fondant on the side. Make the pinky shorter. And now very gently roll the fingers in between your fingers just to smooth them out. And after you smooth the fingers and shape them, just bend them into the shape that you want your fingers to stay in. Set aside to dry and repeat with the second hand. Next we're going to make the body, and for the body we're going to be using 55 grams of skin color fondant. So take your piece of fondant, roll it in between your hands, tuck all the creases in one place, try to make it always in one place, and smooth the fondant as much as you can. Shape the fondant into a rounded rectangle. And shape out a neck. Squeeze out a small breast. We don't need to make it very large. Next, we will make the waistline and the bottom part. Using a bolt tool, I'm creating 2 indentations. We're going to insert the legs in there. Squeeze slightly to create the waist and the placement for the legs. We will shape the back as well. Don't forget to create the curve in the back. Cut off some excess fondant if needed. This part is optional, but you can create the indentations we have in our neck, the collarbones. It just adds some realistic features to the figure, but again, this part is optional. Next, we will make the ballet outfit. For this, take a small piece of white fondant, roll it out very thinly, approximately 1 to 2 millimeters thin, and wrap it around the body. Cut off the excess fondant using the precision knife. make a line in the middle of the bag, small indentation like we all have in our bags. And cut out the excess fondant in the front as well. Now we want to color the bottom part as well, so we will take a small piece of white fondant and we will add to the bottom part as well. Now I want to add some volume to the bottom, so I'm attaching a small piece of white fondant. I'm smoothing it into the body and shaping it to create a small bottom. Now when we are finished with all our body parts, we're going to assemble our figure. So I'm already inserted the body on top of one of the legs. And now we will close the gap between the leg and the body. Just take a small piece of white fondant and smooth it between the leg and the body. Smooth the fondant as much as you can, incorporate it into the body and into the leg, but don't worry too much about it because it's going to be partially covered with the skirt. Next, we're going to insert the second leg into the body. We're inserting it in an angle and we're very carefully pushing the skewer into the body, and to insert it into the base we will lift the figure up a little bit, insert first into the body and afterwards we will insert the figure back to the base. And as with the first leg, here as well we will take a small piece of white fondant and we will incorporate this into the leg and into the bodysuit, and by that we will close the gap between the leg and the body. Again, smooth as much as you can. Try to make it seamless as much as you can. But again, don't worry too much about the connections because it's going to be covered with the skirt. Next we will make the tutu. For this, take a small piece of pink fondant, roll it out very thinly, 1 to 2 millimeters thick, cut out a circle and another circle in the middle of that circle. I'm using a large piping tip to cut out the inner circle, but you can do it by hand as well. Put the skirt on top of the figure, make some folds. It might be easier to create some of the folds before inserting the skirt on top of the figure, and afterwards just attach the fondant to the body. To help the skirt to set in the position we want, we will insert 4 skewers. The holes won't be visible, and when it's going to be dry we will take them out. Now we will make a second layer of the tutu, just the same way as we did the first time. And the last thing we're going to do is to attach the arms. Attach the arm to the shoulder and take a small piece of skin color fondant and put it over the seam. Afterwards, smooth it using the Dresden tool or your fingers and smooth it as much as you can, and by that you are attaching the arm to the body and helping it stick, and of course covering the seam between the arm and the shoulder. Attach the second hand the same way. In this case I chose to attach it pointing up, but it's the same technique. So just attach it to the body and use a small piece of skin color fondant to cover the seam and help it stick to the body. Now the skirt is set, so take out the toothpicks, and here we go. Our fondant ballerina figure is ready. Now, as I said at the beginning of this tutorial, there are two kinds of heads that you can put on this body. The first one is the cartoon one, and you can find the tutorial on our channel. And now we will talk about the second option, which is the Ovaniz photo to fondant portrait character fondant figure. It basically means that you can sculpt a fondant figure copied from a picture. It is the Ovaniz best-selling tutorial, and now just imagine the surprise of your loved ones when they see themselves on their celebration cake. Of course, it's not limited only for this one figure. The possibilities are endless. You can make your child, you can make your husband, you can make a celebrity. You can make your child's head on his favorite superhero body, and of course the possibilities are endless, and this is a truly amazing product. So thank you for watching this tutorial. All the details about the videos and the products are in the description box down below. So if you want to watch more tutorials about fondant figures and you are like us passionate about cake fondant decorating, we invite you to hit the subscribe button and help our channel grow. This was Eve from Ovaniz. See you at the next videos. Stay sweet!